Hi everyone, Judy Medora here with the Oily Krafter, my husband Greg behind the camera. Today we're going to do some stuff with our Glowforge and sublimation on wood. So we're going to be doing multi things. So we're going to have computer work as well as work on the Glowforge where we're cutting the wood, and then we're going to be doing a heat press so we can actually sublimate the picture onto the wood that we cut.
Hi, I'm Greg Medora, Judy's partner in the Oily Krafter. So today, as she talked about, we're going to be doing sublimation on wood. So what we did was we went to Lowe's or Home Depot, I can't remember which, but we got some 1/4 inch thick 2x2 sheet of plywood. Today we decided to cut that down to where it's 1 foot square. Now because we are going to be using the Glowforge and we're going to be using it to cut this material, this is non-proof grade material. So one of the things you definitely need to do is you will definitely need to know the thickness. So what we did was we took a digital caliper and we measured multiple times around this board so that we could know the thickness. We did that like 6 or 8 times, adding them together, divided by the number of data points we took to get the thickness, because that will be critical when we go to do the setup on the Glowforge later. All right, so today, again, this is preparation of the material. So one of the things that on Glowforge on the proof grade material is they have a tape over the top of their material. So since this is non-proof grade material, what we're going to do is we're going to put some of that tape across the top there. And basically this is a 6-inch wide roll of masking tape is what this is. So what we're going to do is try and see if I can't get this on there kind of sort of straight. Okay, I'm going to need a pair of scissors.
Let me see if I can grab them.
Well, here I can maybe able to. Maybe not.
One of the things I want to point out about this tape, this masking tape, it is a paper masking tape. You don't want to use something that's going to have some kind of a toxic release when it's burned. So you want to make sure it's a paper. Okay. You can get these in 6-inch rolls and 12-inch rolls off of Amazon and other places.
Yeah, this happens to be a 6-inch roll.
And you don't want any overlap. You've got to have it side by side, they said, because when you're of the thickness with the laser. And they said, do your best to have no bubbles or wrinkles and smooth as possible.
Right.
When you're masking
pull that up.
The board.
There we go. There's a little bit of a gap there, but that's really super tiny.
Okay.
So that's probably about as good as I'm going to be able to do.
Alright, so now we're going to trim it up a little bit to the side of the board, and then we're going to take it to the Glowforge. We'll see you there.
Alright, so next step, we've got our paper masking tape on that board there, 2 6-inch wide strips, and we're going to put this down here inside the Glowforge. So in this particular case, where do we want to put that? Put it where it's like right up here against the edge? What do you think?
Yeah, maybe a little bit more forward.
A little more forward this way?
Yeah. I think that's where we messed up on the other thing that we were doing. We didn't have it forward like that.
All right, well.
So let me show them where the head's at. Compare. Okay, so there's the upper corner.
Yeah.
All right. So there we go. Now we're going to close the lid.
Yep.
We have our vent all hooked up back there. All right, here we go.
So we are at the computer now, and we are getting ready to import our design. So you can see we're in app.glowforge.com. We've already logged in. So now we're going to go to create. And we're going to say upload from a file right here. And we're going to go find our picture. I think we decided on this one right here, didn't we?
Yes.
So we're going to click on that, and we're going to click on open. And it's going to process our image. And notice where that is. So, all right. So in this particular case, on our settings, we need to do an outline. So we're going to come over here and we're going to select Create Outline right here. And we're going to create an outline. Let the computer do its job, and you see this adjust outline right here. See this blue line right here? That blue line right there, that is adjusted by this device right here. Now, because we want to do sublimation all the way to the edge, we're actually going to adjust this to 0. So there you go. We're adjusting that all the way to 0. Alright. Now on this particular one, we're going to come up here and we're going to click on this setting, and we're going to go to manual. And notice it says cut right here. So we're going to go to manual, and we're going to change the speed. I believe this was 140 is what we decided, and we decided we're going to want full power on this, as I recall. Number and the focus height in inches, we already did that, and our number of inches on that earlier was 0.1938. So we got that measurement by using the digital calipers, measuring the thickness of that material multiple times around the material, and then we divided it by the number of data points that we had. Right? And right here we're going to do a save as. We're going to give it a custom name for, we're going to say cut. What kind of ply? We just want to call it plywood. What?
Well, this one actually on the tag says Universal Forest Products Lillian Plywood.
Lillian Plywood.
I think that might be a U instead of an L-I. I'm not sure. See if you can tell.
L-A-U-A-N.
Okay, so it's Luan.
L-A-U-A-N. Hang on.
Yep.
L-A-U-A-U-N. Plywood.
We'll get it right here in a minute.
Yep. Sorry about that. Alright. So again, as you can see, speed 140 and full power. Right. And we're going to hit back. And then on this particular one, we're just going to hit ignore, because we're going to ignore the artwork. Basically what we're wanting the Glowforge to do is cut this highly irregular shape for us. Right? Now we're going to click over here, and as you can see, on that material,
you might want to move it away from the edge. Just
yeah, we're gonna move that down. We're gonna move it down a little bit here.
Apparently we had the wrong thing highlighted. You need to go up to this.
Undo.
Highlight the outline. Yeah, there you go. Because that's what's cutting.
No,
I still move the artwork. Okay.
Undo again. Flip vertical, flip horizontal. That's insert shape, premium, more. Pass through, Glowforge. Okay, sorry guys, we're trying to figure this out.
Click on that.
There, I'm gonna select all.
There we go.
Control A. So I clicked in the window and I hit Control A.
That got us what we needed.
Yeah, it did. So I'm just gonna pull it away so it's not right on the edge, and it's kind of more away from there. So what do you think?
That's good. That's good.
Because we're over 11 by 11 here, so that
and they said if you get it too close to the edge, you can cause flare-ups. So we're trying to avoid that as well.
Yeah, we are. And so, all right.
So, are we ready to print?
I think we are ready to print. So we've...
Oh, we have a selected material.
And then use... Oh. What's the number again?
0.19.
0.1938. And submit. Okay.
Okay, now it says ready to print.
All right.
So you see the red line? That should be where it cuts.
Yeah, the red line is going to where it's going to cut.
All right.
Now, there is not a red line right in here for the Grand Lakes.
That's okay.
So we're going to hit print right here. I understand.
Yeah, stop.
And just wanted to let you know it does take a little bit to prepare that material. Well, okay, it did come back, and it decided after spinning for a few minutes. It did come back and it said, okay, it's ready to print, and it's going to take about 4 minutes to print that, to cut out that shape. So we're back over here at the Glowforge, and you can notice that button is flashing that light blue teal color. So we are ready to print and press the button. As you can see, it's starting up.
Remember, this is going to take 4 minutes, so we'll come back when it's almost done.
So here we are, it's coming around to almost finished. Just trying to, I know we got glare behind it, apologize for that, but that's interesting. That's going backwards.
Well, we'll see what we got when it's done.
Yep. Interesting, it's not retracing the whole thing, it's just doing
Little different pieces,
points.
yeah. Huh. Well, we may have a setting wrong. Live and learn. That's first the original cut.
It is.
The glare is just awful.
Yeah, I'm trying to reposition it.
But where we had to put it.
I believe it's done.
Yep. Okay. As soon as it shuts down,
Yeah.
we'll open the deal.
Let's come back over here to the computer and see.
Okay, here we're ready to. Are we ready to open it?
Yeah,
All
I
right.
think we're ready to open it.
So you guys get to hear what it really sounds like without the HEPA filter.
Yeah.
And without one of those special inline fans. Okay, here we go. We're going to see how well we did. A little bit of a burn smell still, but
It is.
not too bad. Oh, perfect.
Absolutely
Cut
perfect.
all the way through.
Yeah, a little bit of burn smell, but it's absolutely perfect. Anything else you want to say?
Yep.
Next thing we're going to have to do, of course, is take that tape off of there. But we are going to be in good shape for this project.
Yep, there we go.
So again, here's that material. Again, this is 1 foot by 1 foot is what this originally was. And then we imported this picture into the Glowforge and then did the settings and told it to cut, and this is the final result there without the tape. What I do want to show you is on the edges here, we were wondering if we were going to have to stain the edges of that. And it's actually a beautiful black color as a result of the
being charred.
A result of being charged, being cut by the laser. But it's absolutely perfect what we wanted on size. All right, so we got the heat press converted over. We had last done mugs, and so this time we're on the heat press and we've got the regular platen hooked up. So in this particular case, we want to set the temperature to 350.
I don't think it does. Oh, there it
Oh,
goes.
there we go. 350 is our set point. And then that's a timer. And do we know how long the timer is going to be?
The first one's for 90 seconds. And we have it set for tile right now, so it's way up there on the time.
We do.
So
So you just press and hold. It depends on the heat press. Every heat press is different, right?
yeah, this is an 8-in-1 that we got off of Amazon, so it has a lot of attachments and
a lot of different
it's
attachments.
a good beginner one.
It is. At a reasonable price point.
And let's see here, getting close.
Look,
90 seconds. Alrighty, so now we'll go over to the computer. Alright, so now we're ready to go ahead and laminate our wood. We want to make sure we put it on the front of the wood, so we're going to put it face down. I have my roll of laminate here. It's a matte finish. This is the 12-inch roll, and I'm going to tape down the edges a little bit here so I can make sure that I have plenty of extra around the edge without compromising the corners, because I have a bad habit of cutting it short if I don't. Okay, so one of the things I'm going to do now, I have it laid out here. I want to make sure I'm missing these things up here. So I'm going to give myself, since I got my grid here, I'm going to come down a little over an inch down. Move my laminate out of the way. Okay. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to start over here. I'm going to tape it up, but I'm going to use heat resistant tape. Sorry if you hear the dogs in the background. They're starting to go crazy. Okay. Not really sure how well this is going to work. This is going to be an all new process here with a shaped wood like this. Normally I have square items to work with. So I got scissors here, thinking about trimming up in these areas here a little bit. So I can kind of get this to come around a little better. Because after we get it heated on, I'm going to trim it up even closer to my wood. Oops, missed it. There we go. That was Smokey. That's our black and white husky you'll see in the videos on occasion. He's going crazy in there with gingerbread. They're silly willies. And the reason you want to make sure you use your heat tape on this and not something like the masking tape is because masking tape and your painter's tape can burn under the heat of the heat press. Okay, now I'm going to get this corner up here. And we're going to trim it down so we can get it a little closer here. Like I said, I've never done any regular shape like this, so it's going to be interesting to see how it finishes up and how much I have to cut away. And this is the one that we're going to stick in. the heat press for 90 seconds. Let's get a bit more tape here. After we get this all taped on, and we'll see how it works. Then after it cools, we'll go over to our printer and print out our actual picture that we're going to sublimate on. I'm going to get rid of some of this extra here. Don't think it's all necessary. All right, so we got all that sublimated to the front. Now we're ready to go over the heat press and get it set up and go. Okay, so we went ahead and we had this preheating at 350 in 90 seconds. I'm going to swing it out of the way because it's good and hot. We're going to put some butcher paper down. That helps absorb any moisture that comes out of your substrate. We're going to put it face down. I also have the what came with the heat press for helping with the softness. Now, there again, I have never done this kind of paper or wood before. This is all new. We have it set to a medium pressure to a heavy pressure, we believe. So it should start counting down as soon as I move the handle. Alrighty. And it didn't start counting down. Oh. Let me try that again.
There it goes. There it goes.
Oh, okay, it started. All right. So apparently I had needed to hit the set button again.
You can see the temperature is set at 350 and the timer was set for 90 seconds.
And this is the part where, like I said, we're just putting on the actual laminate paper. You know, and it's a matte finish that we got. And then when we print out the print for the actual picture, we got to make sure we do it in we flip it to reverse.
It's mirrored,
It's
which
mirrored.
that we have that set up in the printer settings.
Yeah, we have that in the printer settings that we've set up for our doing the heat press with this kind of stuff. And we're down to 50 seconds.
Yeah, one of the things you want to be sure and do is when you're putting the laminate on your material is before you go to apply print on the sublimation paper and try to apply it to the substrate, you want to make sure the substrate is completely cool before you apply that printout. This printout from the sublimation paper directly on the substrate. Otherwise it will start trying to apply the ink while it's still warm, and if it's not set exactly where you want, you won't be happy with the results.
And I am seeing a little smoking. I don't know if you can see that on the camera or not. Every once in a while I can see a little whiff here and there.
Yeah, well, we're almost done.
So this is going to be interesting. I've never done this before.
We're making this up as we go.
Yeah, I'm going to grab my heat-resistant glove here to help pull that off. All right, here we go. Swing it around here. I'm going to get my other glove right quick. Uh-oh. Got in a hurry and dropped it. Then I stepped on it. What fun. True crafting, right? Never a dull moment.
Yeah, definitely encourage you to have heat-resistant gloves.
Especially if you're doing the tiles that we did earlier.
Yeah.
Okay. So, now what I'm going to have to do, probably going to have to go and do trim around
Yeah, with
the craft knife.
Craft knife.
And then we'll be printing out our picture, and we'll
Yeah,
make sure that this is stuck to it as we take the craft knife to it.
Let's let it cool first.
Yeah. Alrighty, so now we have the substrate covered with the laminate paper. I'm going to try to take off the excess. I did notice as it cooled, I got a little bit of moisture in here. So one of the things you might want to do before you actually try to put the laminate on, just put it under the heat press platen for a minute and let it help draw the moisture out before you even put the laminate on. Because some moisture, if it didn't all get out of the piece of wood, it could cause problems with the picture actually sticking. And since I'm trying to make sure I don't pull up from the front, And our doggy is saying, "I'm hungry, come feed me." So this is going to be a little tedious here, trying to get this off, because it sticks to the back too. So I'm just trying to make sure as I cut it, I don't pull it loose from the front. And there's a lot of little undulations here. Now, we didn't put the laminate on before we did it in the Glowforge because we were afraid that we would get some kind of a toxic fumes off of it, not knowing for sure what all chemicals are inside of a laminate, the laminate itself. So like I said, it's going to take me a few minutes to get this done. I'll turn it over and see what I can cut from this side. And I do have a little bit of a bow in this, so what I'm going to do after I get all the laminate off, I'll stick it back in upside down and let it help get some of the bow out of it.
I guess that's the problem with using thinner material like that, is it's more likely to bow than the thicker material.
Yeah, there is that possibility. But also the fact that we didn't try to get the moisture out first because I didn't think about it, that might affect it as well.
Yep.
But it does seem to be stuck pretty good to the front. And it does shrink up a little bit when you heat it, so I'm hoping that when we go to actually put the picture on the front, what little bit is left on the edge here, will go ahead and shrink in a little bit and we won't be able to see it. That's what I'm hoping for anyway.
As you can see, this is a very tedious job. Now obviously if you had like a square or circle, something that didn't have a very unique profile, it would be much easier to cut and trim back.
Yeah, this is going to take me a few more minutes, so we may have to stop the video and come back.
Yep.
Alrighty, so I finally got around to getting all the stuff off the back. So I am going to caution you that over time it still may peel from the front, but I do have a bow, so I'm going to take it over here and I'm going to lay it opposite of what I did before and see if we can't get the bow out of it. And we'll only do this probably about a minute. So I'm going to lay it upside down, put it on here, and we're going to do it for maybe a minute. See if we can't get the bow out of it and have it shrink into the edges, because I left just enough, like 1/16 of an inch around the edges to see if it would shrink in some. Mr. Smokey's checking everything out down here. May not even need to do it a whole 60 seconds either, because I'm already smelling the heat from the wood.
Yeah, just do it like 30 seconds. Stop it at 30 seconds.
All right,
there.
we're going to stop it at 30 seconds. All right. Now we're going to let it cool. So I still have a little bit around the edges, but that's okay, because when we put the actual picture on there, after that, then if there's anything still sticking out, I'll trim it at that time. So, but it does look like I got rid of the bow.
I just leave it in whatever direction you had it face down so they get rid of the bow.
Yep. Alrighty. So that's where we're at this time.
Okay, this is Greg and Judy Medore continuing on with our project. So we have Inkscape loaded up and we are going to import our graphic here. We're going to point to the graphic that we used earlier that we pulled into the Glowforge. We're going to leave the defaults right here and we are going to click on OK. Now notice when that graphic comes in, that graphic is really small and tiny. That is not the size we had on when we had it in our Glowforge. Now under Glowforge, switch back over to that. I've got my design highlighted and it tells me my scale, 10.417 by 6.531. So I'm going to flop back over to Inkscape. I'm going to lock the proportions up here at the top, and I'm going to plug in 10.417. Magically enough, you notice it automatically made the height 6.531. So this is the exact size we need it to be. Okay, before I do anything else, I'm going to save this image. Okay, next thing I'm going to do is you have to do one of two things. Either you have to mirror this image, or when you go to print it, you select printer. We have an Epson Workforce W7720 that we have converted over to Sublimation ink using Cosmos inks. We have already set up some preferences for this printer, so I want to show you. Down here it's called Cosmos Mugs. Okay, if I select that Cosmos Mugs, notice I selected paper cassette 1. I want to use paper cassette 1 because in that printer, when I plug that in, I can use some different qualities of paper in cassette 1 that I cannot use in cassette 2. Now, this already has my settings already set up, but I'm going to go through and show them. Under quality and more settings here, and that is set to quality, right? As far as here under more options, under more options, we have document size, same as document size. Under color correction custom advanced, we have ICM. That is a setting that you need. Image options, you want edge smoothing turned on for that image. And most importantly, mirror image. So you either have to flip your image so that it's mirror, or you can automatically click mirror image and the printer will do the work for you. So I'm going to hit OK. Now at this point I would hit print, and we would load that paper into the printer so that the paper that we're using, again, it's called a Sublimation printer. 125 grain paper, 8.5 by 11. We bought it off of Amazon, and we put that in the printer in paper tray 1 with where we can see the logo A Sub up in that tray, right? And so what will happen is we always do a print head check on the printer prior to doing the sublimation. We don't want any white lines or streaks in this printout. That would just, quite frankly, would be a waste of ink, a waste of paper, and we always do that. We print it until we make sure that all the lines on that maintenance check, to make sure that all those lines are smooth and there are no breaks in the lines. So we'd hit print and the print would come out, and we won't have any issues at all. So again, don't forget to save your image so that in case you ever want to go back, you want to do another one later, all your settings are already in there.
Alrighty, so now that we have our image printed, and it's in image reverse, we have the sublimation on this side because this is the correct way. You can tell on the back there's no shine, so
okay.
So we got it on that. So we're going to take it over to the printer now. And one of the things I do to try to get rid of some of the fingerprints or any dust or anything after it cools off, I wipe it down a little bit, make sure there's no fingerprints.
With a microfiber cloth?
With a microfiber cloth, yep.
Now hang on.
Yeah.
You're going to take that, put it face down,
yeah.
And you're going to tape it, right?
Yeah, we're going to tape it on here because we're going to flip it. And since it's really hard to see over there, okay, as you can see, it's a really tight fit. Whereas when I do tiles, I make it a little larger so I don't have this issue. So I want to take it and tape it. so my paper will stay stuck to my image. Best I can tell, it's in place. Oops, just a little bit there. All right.
One of the things you want to make sure you do, hang on, do one more piece of tape right there.
Yeah.
Two or it's not going to hold it. Make sure that all of this material right here is cool while you're doing this. If it has any heat in the material, it will start transferring the ink potentially before you're ready.
All right, so I'm going to pick it up and carry it over,
Now,
flip it over like that.
Do we know how long we're going to put it in the press for?
90 seconds is what I got on my notes.
Okay.
So we're going to put it down here again. Hopefully the tape's kept everything in place. Cover it back up with our picture paper. We still have our 350 for 90 seconds. And here we go. I'm going to see if this works. Grab my gloves while I'm waiting on it. I'm excited to see how well this comes out. While we're waiting, I'm going to go ahead and pick up here, because we were doing everything through the computer. You couldn't say this is what we order for our sub paper. It works really well for us so far. When we're doing tiles, it doesn't stick to the tile. And the other parts of our wood that where we cut it out of, you still got room down here. You can do other things, so don't throw it out. You can do small projects on this. How are we doing on time? 55 seconds.
Yeah. Make sure you have your gloves on and handy.
Yeah.
So that when that timer goes off, you're ready to go.
Yeah. Uh-oh. The doggies are getting restless again. We went down and fed them earlier because they were getting so rambunctious while we were trying to video. You'll get to know them quite well over our videos because I'm sure they'll be around almost every time we tape. Let's see.
30 seconds.
Just trying to think if there was anything else that we needed to cover.
I don't think so.
That
Just encourage you to, if you're enjoying the enjoying these videos, I would encourage you to subscribe to the channel, share it with your friends, share it with your colleagues. Just give us some feedback, give us some comments. We love to hear from folks and see
any
what
tips or suggestions.
Or additional videos that you want to see.
There we go. I grabbed both pieces of paper. Get it back up there. Alrighty. Let's take a peek.
Yeah. You want to let it cool, honey. Let it cool completely.
No, not if you want to take a peek and see if you got to put more pressure to it.
Okay.
Yeah, it did good. So we'll let it cool for a little while longer and uncover it here in a second. It just seems so saturated still with color here. I was kind of worried that it didn't take.
Yeah. Now, one of the things we do want to point out, when we did a previous job where we were doing some mugs, what we found out is after you do the sublimation is let it set, because the colors got much more vibrant as we let the thing set.
We were so surprised. We gave a cup away as a gift, and it looked really dark when we wrapped it. Day later, when he opened it, all the colors and purples and stuff had come out and were gorgeous.
They were popping. So it was like difference between night and day.
Alrighty, I think that should be cool enough. It's kind of hard to do with these gloves on. Yeah, I'm gonna have to take one of the gloves off so I can grab the tape.
Yeah. Do you want to here use your X-Acto knife to cut the cut the
These little craft knives come in handy. Come on.
Just careful.
I just can't do
Careful
anything
with the
this.
X-Acto knife.
Yes, sir. If I can get one off, then the others should come. pretty easily. All right, let me put that back down over there, so safety reasons. Get this tape off.
Just tape it on the back of the paper.
Well, it did stick a little bit, but I think that's because our image should have been a little bigger. Either that or I didn't quite get it on there right. It's a little off on our placement. But other than that, I think it came out pretty good.
Yeah, for a first effort, I think that's pretty spot on.
Yeah, and I do suggest that if you decide to try this method, pick a more simple shape to start with. I think that was part of the problem, was the fact that we picked a very hard shape.
Well, and as you recall, this part right up here was supposed to have been cut out.
And we didn't have that cut.
And we did not cut that.
Yeah.
Because we did an outline.
And you can see the texture of the wood a little bit in it, which is fine with me. I like that kind of look. But if you don't, find you a smoother board.
Yep.
Thank you very much. Be sure to click the bell and hit subscribe, and let us give us any suggestions. And thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed our video.